Hey, everybody. Good evening. Let me get myself organized here. I'm both live streaming via computer and I'm also streaming via my phone. Welcome. We are Student Loan Justice. We are the first, largest, and only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. We've been around since 2005. We've done many things. I'm actually the first student loan activist in U.S. history, believe it or not. So, guys, there is so much going on. I felt it was very important to do this particular live stream tonight, just because all the news that's breaking around the election, obviously Trump's appointment, etc. If you're new to the group, welcome. Tell everyone you know about this group. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, we need you here if you care about actually, not pretend, solving your student loan problem. We're fiercely nonpartisan, fiercely independent. We endorse neither candidate during the election. So, and by the way, if you have questions or comments and you're watching us on either Twitter or YouTube, I will do my utmost to see your comments and also read your comments aloud on air and respond to them if I can see them. So, guys, first of all, we all know how the election went. I know fully half of our group, maybe even more, are bitterly disappointed in how it went. I get that. But the reality is that we now have Donald Trump to deal with for the next 4 years. That's just true. So I'm sorry that you're disappointed. For what it's worth, we were going to be disappointed in a Kamala Harris presidency, guys. We just were. The Democrats abandoned and betrayed us. The Republicans hate us. The rank and file Republican establishment absolutely is vicious and cruel. That is true. But the people who launched Kamala's career, they're the people who stopped student loan cancellation by executive order. So it's true. Google it. Look at the articles that we've written. If you're watching us on our Facebook group, Twitter, studentloanjustice.medium.com, read the article. It's true. Mary and Stephen Swig, two San Francisco billionaires, whispered in Nancy Pelosi's ear that no, the president cannot cancel loans by executive order. Nancy Pelosi dutifully repeated that, and when they essentially gave a permission structure to the Supreme Court, which gave them political cover for quashing Joe Biden's student loan cancellation initiative. It was terrible what the Swig family did, what Pelosi did. But what you need to know is that it is the Swig family that launched Kamala's career. And Kamala's platform for student loans was non-existent, guys. She said nothing. So and the DNC has taken the return of bankruptcy rights out of their agenda. Again, if you're new to the group, so you know, we're fighting for two things: the cancellation of all federally owned student loans by executive order, and first and foremost, far more important than any cancellation that Biden would have done, is the return of constitutional bankruptcy leverage to student loans. Unless and until we, the borrowers, get that leverage without anybody having to actually file for bankruptcy, just having the leverage of bankruptcy is what is absolutely needed to compel any meaningful reform of this catastrophically failed, viciously predatory loan scam. Bankruptcy. Nobody wants to file, but it's the leverage of bankruptcy that's so important. Okay, so no matter what your political stripes, you're very welcome here. And I am looking for your comments on YouTube. Right now, I've got you dialed in, and also on Twitter, I should have you dialed in very soon. So here's the thing, guys. Here's why I'm doing this live stream tonight. Matt Gaetz. I don't know if you were like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot like I was when I heard his name mentioned next to the word attorney general, words attorney general in the same sentence. Like, what? like drink coffee, like that. I was like that. I think you probably were too, if you know anything about Matt Gaetz. The FBI actually investigated Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz claimed, and may very well have been right, that they tried to frame him for some sort of scandal. So, in other words, Matt Gaetz is absolutely the last guy that you would imagine to be picked for attorney general. He's a young guy, too. I don't think he's more than about 44 years old or something like that. This is very interesting, guys. Love or hate Matt Gaetz. We were looking at Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, as being the nominee shortly after the election. Thank God. I mean that. Thank God that did not happen. Andrew Bailey he is the number one most vicious state attorney general in the nation. He's responsible for that Supreme Court case that I mentioned earlier. It's not Andrew Bailey. And here is the uniquely interesting thing about Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is one of the very few Republicans in Congress who has agreed and echoed our call for the return of bankruptcy rights to student loans. He is. It's true. In fact, believe it or not, Matt Gaetz actually follows us on Twitter. He has called publicly for the return of bankruptcy to student loans on multiple occasions. He voiced support in hearing for a bill a couple of sessions ago that would have returned bankruptcy rights to federal student loans. That, ladies and gentlemen, puts a very major spring in my step. Earlier today, I should mention, it's been very difficult since the election for this group. It's like, we are in existential jeopardy at this point. And by the way, if you can donate, please do. Let me just say, our donations fell off a cliff on October 1st because the on-ramp to repayment pause ended. Everybody was just down in the dumps. Our donations plummeted again. And by the way, when I say donations, I'm talking like a couple $1,000 that we need every month to exist, like poverty level subsistence, just to keep me alive and keep this group running. Our donations again dropped even further after the election since last week. So I've been very concerned that this may well be the end of student loan justice going forward, and that still may be true, ladies and gentlemen. If you appreciate all the work that this group has done over many years, all that we've gotten done, and the fact that we are the only uncorrupted group fighting for student loan borrowers. I'm a student loan borrower. I'm a defaulted student loan borrower. I do nothing but tell the truth. I always have. I always will. I don't do any bad things with bad guys. I don't do business transactions with student loan industry. None of that. We never have. We never will. All of the other big groups like Debt Collective and Student Debt Crisis, those groups are business partners with the student loan industry. Those groups are fake. Those groups are vicious. Open your eyes. But I digress. We don't do that. We call a spade, whatever the cost may be. So I've been very worried because we don't have any revenue other than donations, et cetera, et cetera. And I've been thinking very seriously that we might have to pack things up with this group. But guys, I'm here to tell you, this Matt Gaetz nomination, love or hate the Republicans, I've said what I have to say on that. Your thoughts are your own, whatever they may be. This is a very intriguing and interesting pick, and it gave me a tiny spark of hope. Because remember this, the Attorney General, there are two agencies that now oversee the bankruptcy process for student loans. First, obviously, is the Department of Education. But also, the Department of Justice has roughly an equal authority over overseeing the new bankruptcy process that Biden implemented over his term. So That new bankruptcy process is completely corrupted, guys. It's putting the fox in charge of the henhouse. It's terrible. Don't believe the propaganda media that you'll see about it, where they say 99% of the cases are getting discharges in bankruptcy. That's completely false. What they're actually saying is that 99% of the cases that make it to the point where there is a judgment get discharges. What they don't say is that only a fraction of a percent of the people who file for bankruptcy who have student loans actually make it all the way through that process, because before they make it through the process, their bankruptcy attorneys will dissuade them from going further and try and steer them into loan consolidation, loan rehabilitation. And loan rehabilitation is absolutely the worst thing you can do for your student loans. You have to sign for a new, much larger loan, and you have an 80% chance of defaulting again on that rehabilitated loan. Absolute poison. So the new bankruptcy process is a cruel joke where the determination of undue hardship has been taken out of the hands of the judge and put into the hands of bureaucrats at the Department of Education and, yes, the Department of Justice. So of all Republicans that I could think of that I would want to be running the Department of Justice, believe it or not, love him or hate him, Matt Gaetz is that man. I'm telling you. And believe it or not, he actually follows us on Twitter and has for years. Who would have thought that could ever happen? So yeah. Oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out to John Cusack. John Cusack, talk about opposite sides of the political spectrum. John Cusack is a socialist, essentially. John Cusack is our hero. Not for socialism. We don't go there. All we care about student loans. But because he also follows us, and he retweeted like 3 of our tweets over the past 2 days. One decrying his choice of Elon Musk to be efficiency guy. Elon Musk made his empire on government subsidies and tax breaks and so forth. So government contracts. So Elon Musk is very conflicted. Probably not the guy you want to be in charge of the government budget for obvious reasons. But no, John Cusack also retweeted our video appeal to President Biden. And if you look up or down on our Facebook group, up or down on our Twitter channel, you can see our plea to President Biden for yourself. We're hoping very much, guys, that, and this thing today really helps with Matt Gaetz. We're hoping very much, guys, that we can push President Biden to do what he promised on student loans before he leaves office. And guys, again, we're a nonpartisan group. We hate both parties, frankly. But this thing today really helps us put pressure on Joe Biden to fulfill his promise, his 4 years long-standing promise to both return bankruptcy to student loans, to cancel student loans. So my hats off, and my kudos to John Cusack on that. And how interesting is it that we count both John Cusack and Matt Gaetz as allies? Something's going on with this group. I don't know. I'm proud that we are fiercely independent. I'm proud that we stand above the partisan mudslinging, and we don't allow ourselves to be trapped in one foxhole or the other, by the way. And hopefully that will begin to pay more and more dividends for us going forward. So that's good, ladies and gentlemen. As much as you haven't been looking forward to the Trump presidency, if you have student loans, this should give you significant hope. I don't know what the chances are of Matt making it through Senate confirmations. Some people on MSNBC and CNN that I'm watching right now claim he has no chance. But, you know, I think with these recess appointment agreements, although Senator John Thune, who was elected by secret ballot to lead the Senate, he never said explicitly that Trump will get his recess appointments. I have no reason to think that Trump is anything but serious about Matt Gaetz leading the Department of Justice. And I mean, of all the terrible things you might think about Matt Gaetz, guys, on student loans, Matt Gaetz absolutely is the best Republican for us out there. So I'm looking for your comments now. Yeah, I don't know that I'm even going to be able to see your comments here tonight, guys. That happens sometimes. I'm on a really cheap Chromebook and I have bad internet connection, a pretty dicey internet connection. Hopefully this video is coming through. So if you're disappointed with the election, and I know we were going to be disappointed no matter what happened, but if you are particularly disappointed, and if you particularly hate Matt Gaetz, and I mean, I can't blame you for that. Some of the things he said has just been caustic and offended so many people. For the purpose of student loan justice, it's a ray of hope, guys. I'm just saying it is. And we are stuck with Trump for 4 years, guys. And so to all of you who can't stand the Republicans or Trump, we cannot stand the Republicans, certainly. Trump is a wild card. And so where I had very little hope this morning, this appointment of Matt Gaetz gives me some very serious hope, guys. If you care about getting student loan justice, which is absolutely and the only thing that we care about. I would say, and if a guy like Matt Gaetz can get that nomination, like, I don't feel bad now for running for president, which I did. Again, if you're new to the group, I ran for president in this election. But I certainly don't feel underqualified to lead the Department of Education should I be tapped on the shoulder to do that. I will certainly erase and replace the federal student loan program. I think it would be more than fine to see the department dissolved and the authorities of funding education, both K through 12 and higher education, be given back to the states with federal funding, of course. I'm not saying I wouldn't pull the plug, obviously, but I would get rid of the Department of Education, guys. They jettisoned any and all pretense of actually fighting for the people and making people's lives better through education. That got kicked to the curb decades ago, before I started student loan justice 20 years ago. And I think it's long overdue for a teardown. There's no baby left with the Department of Education. It's all bathwater, guys. So I actually support the elimination of the Department of Education, given that the federal government doesn't pull the plug on funding education in this country, K through 12 and higher education, and trade schools, and which is higher education, etc. So I hope you're pleased with that. I hope that if you've been looking out the window thinking bad thoughts for the past week, I hope this will give you a little bit of a reason to be hopeful, because there truly is a reason to be hopeful now. And just the fact that it wasn't Andrew Bailey alone is very good news for us. Our opposition, they span both sides of the aisles, guys. And this whole eliminate the Department of Education thing really has them worried. I can smell their fear, which means that us on this group, the only true group, uncorrupted group fighting for student loan justice, the group that got student loan cancellation by executive order launched into the public conversation, into the national conversation in the first place. This group, the group that is responsible for most all of the credible bankruptcy legislation to have come through Congress over the past 10 years. What we do on this group means everything, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're one of the 99% of the people on our group who have lost spirit, stopped engaging, and have been just apathetic as crap for the past months or even years, this is the time for you to really get serious, because we have no matter what happens in Washington, D.C., guys, we have a very tough battle ahead. And all the great things that we've accomplished over the years have always and only and absolutely started with people on our group fighting. Normal people. You, me, Ed, Jackie is tearing it up on Twitter today. Our dearly departed Martha. We love you, Martha. I just got a donation in today from Martha, which was really odd. Our biggest encouragement and motivation, Martha, passed away about a month or so ago. And, so God bless you, Martha. I hope Martha's looking down on us, smiling right now. It's people like those that I just met. Michael Jacobs, who just made a fantastic video for us. Christine in Arizona, who has put her name out there publicly in national conversations. Nick in Utah, who fights with every bit as much ruthlessness and toughness as I do, getting eyeball to eyeball with congressmen, senators, Supreme Court judges, who fights with every bit as much piss and vinegar as I do, out there doing stuff. That's what this whole thing is about, guys. We are the embodiment of the American spirit. We are as raw and as well-guided, and as we fight with as much alacrity and good faith as anything you'll ever see in this country. This is where it starts, guys. This is where it starts. So if you're freaking out about your student loans, you're very welcome here. We need you. We need you badly helping us. And I don't mean donations. I do mean donations to a tiny extent. We need, as I said, a couple, $2,000, $3,000 a month to survive. That's not what's important. What's important are your actions. Are you getting out of bed and helping us fight, helping us take the truth to the masses? Because right now, guys, the masses have been completely lied to. And 98% of everybody, including some student loan borrowers, I presume, have completely bought all the lies, the propaganda that our opposition has seeded in the media. Like how canceling student loans is a cost to the taxpayers. That's false. Like how this is a problem for young liberal elites. The opposite of that is far more true. Most people with student loans are older than 35, not younger than 35. Most people with student loans, whether they graduated or not, identify politically as either Republicans or independents. That's true. The worst hurt states are not these coastal elite states by student loan debt, like California or Oregon or Washington or New York or Massachusetts or whatever. No. The worst hurt states in the country by student loans are the entire South, southern red states. So I can't even tell you all the lies that have been seeded into the zeitgeist by our opposition, but I could probably do a live stream for about 5 hours discussing them all in detail. I'm not kidding you. So I hope that you are encouraged by what I said here tonight. If you forget everything I say tonight, remember at least this. We do actions every single day, daily actions. Go to our website, studentloanjustice.org. We update our daily actions tab on the website every week or so. If you go to our Facebook group, you can see our daily actions every single day. I try and post the daily actions on a daily basis on Twitter. I send them out to our email list every day. Do our daily actions. They're quick. They usually take no more than a minute or so. It's usually like retweet this, retweet that, spread this video, this plea to Joe Biden, for example, on Twitter or Facebook or TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Spread this around, spend 5 minutes. Very easy daily actions that everybody can do. And we've got like 1.4 million people on this group, guys, at least on paper. We've got 1.2 million petition signers, 20,000 on our Facebook groups, probably 25 or 30,000 across all of our Facebook groups, including our state chapter groups. Join your state chapter. Again, all this stuff starts at the website. Go to our website, studentloanjustice.org. Should be streaming below. You can help, and we need you to help. And we need you to go above and beyond helping and doing your own thing too, by the way. The daily actions are a good start, but everybody in our group is smart. They've got their own skills, talents, networks, etc. They've got their own ideas for what might work for this battle. This is not a Nazi top-down organization, guys. If we were a band, we'd be the Grateful Dead. You got to bring, it's a potluck here. You've got to bring your own strengths into this group. And we will support any and all initiatives by individuals or subgroups within this community if they're good projects. So if you're fighting for the return of bankruptcy protections and you've got a cool project, if you're fighting for loan cancellation and you've got a cool project, if you're an artist, we love good art. Like, check out the video that Michael Chaney did for us recently. We love that. This is the place for you to showcase your talents. This is a battle worth fighting. I wouldn't have been doing this for 20 years of my life if this wasn't a battle worth fighting. So take heart. I've gone a little bit longer than I was planning on tonight, but it's been a while since I've done a live stream, so I think it's appropriate. I will respond to any and all of your comments later on. I'm sorry that I couldn't see them tonight. Please donate if you can. Like, literally, guys, if we could, if 100 people donated $20 today, we wouldn't have to worry about funding for the next month or so. Maybe 3 weeks, let's say. Just please donate so I can shut up about it. Take heart, buck up. Things are getting interesting. Things are getting tough, but things are getting interesting. So take heart, buck up. Good luck. Go to our Medium channel. Last thing I'll do for you tonight is dial in our Medium channel so that you can see it and educate yourself. Read the past 10 or 12 articles that we've written, and you will be a very fine, fit, fierce student loan justice warrior, capable of making the arguments that we make and capable of making the bad guys look stupid and shutting them down in their tracks with their nonsense garbage arguments. It's do or die, guys. These are your loans. This is your problem. This is the right place to be to actually fight this battle, not be hypnotized and demotivated and paralyzed by the astroturf out there, like Debt Collective and Student Debt Crisis, fucking fake corrupted groups. This is the right place. Spread the word. And together we will get this student loan problem solved. The founders are on our side. We're on our side. We can't go wrong when you help. It's just as simple as that. So good luck. I'll do another live stream in the next, as is appropriate. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow, as circumstances dictate. Good luck. Godspeed. And God bless everyone. See you soon.